All righty. Hey, again, welcome to what we like to call the Fire Starter Call. This is our weekly team call. We're excited to have you guys a part of it tonight. I hope it brings you a tremendous amount of value. It's a little bit different of a team call in the sense that we kind of do it round table in some regards. So we always try and bring on somebody from our team that we really believe does a great job at the topic, and then always kind of counterbalance that with having Amber join as well. So you guys kind of get two opinions for the price of one. And, I'm just here to kind of play moderator, smile occasionally, and shut up oftenly. So as it pertains to tonight, I'm super excited to welcome Erin Novak. Erin and her husband, Chad, are good friends of ours, and Erin has been with our team here for a while now. And this time last year, kicked it into hyperdrive when it came to recruiting. And when we've chatted in the past, her ability to create conversations on Instagram stories, I think is going to bring a lot of value to you. She also does a lot with her own Facebook for Business page, which I think I want to get us talking about a little bit more tonight as well, because she's finding coaches from those places, which I think is a struggle for a lot of people. And then obviously Amber will kind of come in here and chime in as well. And you'll get to hear kind of how she works Instagram, how she uses stories, how we use our Facebook, and all that kind of stuff. We've got kind of a nice, warm call set up for all you guys. And I do want to say welcome to Team Love Shack, Real Women Conquer, Lindsay Hay, all you guys. We really appreciate you guys making us a part of your Monday night and joining us for this call. And I hope it brings a lot of value to you guys as everybody's pushing for year-end goals. So with that being said, hey, welcome, Erin Novak.
Hey, sorry, I hadn't unmuted myself. How's it going?
Good. Hey, girl, hey. That's a thing still, right?
Less maybe when you say it. I think it's more of a girl-to-girl kind of thing.
Ouch. Okay. All right. We're warming up. Okay. Hey, could you give everybody just maybe a little bit of background on you, who you are, where you're from, that kind of gig?
Yeah, sure. So like Jake said, Erin Novak. I've been with Jake and Amber for, I guess it's almost been 2.5 years now. Started coaching a few months postpartum after baby number 2. I had 2 under 2. So crazy season of life. If anyone says that they don't have time for coaching, I did not have time for coaching, but actually made time, and it was one of the best crazy things I did. So now I'm still a stay-at-home mom / work-at-home mom, coaching with my girls who are 2.5 and 4. So a little time has gone by. But I live in Charleston, South Carolina, but I also have moved across the country since I started coaching. So I threw that in there during coaching as well. I was in Iowa when I started. Now I'm in just outside Charleston, South Carolina. My husband, Chad, works full-time retail, so has kind of crazy hours. He's not on with me tonight because he's closing tonight. I don't know. Other than that, what else? Any other information? Did I leave anything out that you feel is pertinent?
I don't know. What's your lifetime rank again?
3-star.
3-star.
Mm-hmm.
So that was, and then there was light.
Yeah. Yeah, our team, I guess I did, like you said, this time last year, we went from diamond to ending the year, 2-star premier by the end of the year. So that was pretty exciting. It was the big fourth quarter. So a lot can happen in the fourth quarter. Hey, Amber.
Hey, you guys remember Amber, right? Yep. So cool. Well, I think just when it comes down to everything that we're trying to accomplish in this push for Diamond here, we just really felt strongly that Erin embodies a lot of those things and was able to jumpstart her team and jumpstart her business. And so I think there's a lot that we can glean from a conversation tonight. I want to start out the call on talking about mindset. I'm going to kind of break it down into a couple of categories just so you guys, both you and Erin, have an ability to kind of think in advance a little bit. I want to talk about mindset and just kind of getting in that right frame of mind to invite, because that's getting started, that's a huge hurdle for people, is just getting over yourself and sending an invite. So I want to start there, and then I want to transition into getting started, because we do have some people on this call that have been with the business a short period of time. As I'm looking through that diamond tracker, I'm seeing a lot of people who are just trying to get after it starting now. So I want to transition into that, who you're inviting to get started, that kind of thing. And then we'll transition to the good stuff and talk about how you guys are using Facebook and then how you guys are using Instagram to invite. Cool? Sweet. So let's talk mindset. One of the things that I was thinking is how you get in the right frame of mind to invite.
Yeah, so I guess it depends on the time of day. Because so I have two different times a day that I work my business, and one is early in the morning before the girls are up, and then I've recently added them going to preschool, but before that it was just early in the morning and then at nap time. So early in the morning, I do like to get my workout in, usually pretty crazy early, so my blood's going a little bit, but I also like to do my scripture time and like kind of fill my head with like truth and positivity and like pump myself up that way. And get that confidence going, because if you just like go in scared, yes, you're going to always be a little bit scared. Like I still don't love messaging people. You put yourself out there, but like being vulnerable kind of sucks, but it's totally necessary. So I do those things before I get started. And then in the afternoon, it's just 100% energize and hydrate combined and some music. And then it's like, okay, I have to do that. It's just I haven't met a coach yet that's like, I love inviting people like in the moment. I think that you have to put yourself out there. It's a necessary evil, but there can actually be fun in it, because when you get some fun conversations going, then you're reminded quickly like, oh, these are just normal humans too that don't mind me reaching out to them. I don't know why I make it into this mountain that it really isn't.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Ams? How do you get in the right mindset to invite?
I think similar to that, it is that just being positive and feeling full enough so that you're overflowing, right? And that you want to invite, because I know Erin and I have talked about this. We're both kind of introverted. Like it's not our normal thing to be like, let's just reach out to like tons of people, every day and invite them. So it really does have to, you have to fill yourself up first for sure. And then I would say, I have always had to remind myself that when I invite, it is a gift to them, because when I was first starting, I would get in my head and I was like, well, I don't want them to feel like I'm trying to convince them to, join my team or trying to convince them to spend money. And, that is just like the wrong mindset. But when you really think about, gosh, what has this community done for you and what has it done for your family, whether it's physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially, and you kind of focus on those gifts, gosh, you can't help but want to invite the other person into that. And I think you get over yourself a little bit quickly when you realize it's not about you, but it's really just about something that they could be a part of if you get out of your head. Mm.
So I know you kind of touched on this quickly, Erin, but do you find that you have a greater ability to get something done from an inviting standpoint at a particular time of day, or is it kind of universal whenever? When do you do your inviting?
I think like with anything in this business, I try to have the discipline to do it first, because it's the least fun activity in the moment for me. So I find that if I put it off to like do my team stuff or the other, like reaching out to my coaches who I know already said yes to me and like me, like that's easier to do. So I try to discipline myself to do it first, like first thing, at least get those first five out there first thing in the morning. Cause then it's like, okay, like I've messaged 5 people, I reach out to them, and then just like, now I can do anything, because I kind of ripped the Band-Aid off. Because I still do get very nervous. I don't want anybody to think that you aren't going to have a little bit of nerves with it. That's normal. If you feel nervous, don't think that it's not for you. Just know that you're normal. Maybe we just don't talk about that enough, that even if we've been doing it a while, you still get a little bit nervous when you reach out to someone about it.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah, how about you? When do you try and do the majority of your inviting?
I sit similar. Kind of depends on when I'm going to have my big chunk of work for the day. But whenever I have that block of a few hours that I know is like I don't have calls, I don't have, anything interrupting me, it's like, okay, you have to force yourself to get that done, because as you guys know, like life happens, and, like the school can call and say that your kid's sick, or, stuff can get cut short. And so it's that, but then it is also when I'm in the right, like I have to get myself in the right mindset. And so like Erin said, with the energize and with, like, you have to get yourself in your peak state before you can send out these invites, or it'll just make you crazy.
I want to kind of clarify this too, because as we're going through, in a dream world, I mean, you guys have the time in the day, you don't have sick kids, everything that life throws at you. In a dream world, how many invites would you guys both like to be sending out about a week?
A week? Is that what you said?
Yeah. If you were to send something out, how many would you ideally be sending out a week?
I would probably say, well, I have to clarify in that right now, my business is in a different place a little bit than it was like when I started. So almost all of my inviting is cold. And I feel like you have to cast a little bit wider of a net in cold invites than warm, as far as, so like my numbers might be a little bit higher, but okay, perfect world, I would get at least 10 out a day. It's like 10 to 15 a day. So anywhere between 60 and 75 a week, I think, for like from that standpoint. Because I will say that when I cold invite a lot of times with coaching, I don't always even get a response like on Instagram and stuff, which is normal.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's great. That's a great point in and of itself. A, normal. B, you need to mass. I mean, we have a lot of these. We have a couple groups that we run on our team, and oftentimes that 3 to 5 seems to be a difficult threshold when you're first getting started. And so it's important to understand that that's normal too. And you're building a habit. And then as your business grows and even some of your expectations for the business grows, then your numbers start multiplying. So for those of you who are just getting started, if, I'm sure Dean would say the same thing. If you're having conversations on a regular basis and you're sending out 3 to 5 invites a day, that can be a lot when you're first getting going. 15 to 25 is a great number, but you also want to look at coaches that are, lifetime 3-star. You want to look at coaches that are, Kelsey is another great example, Erin Kelsey, who are, 10, 11-star coaches that they are sending out mass invites. How many invites would you say you send out a week between invites and conversations?
Yeah. So I want to go back to what Erin said about the warm versus cold and why that matters. Cause I think she hit a really good point there. Like in the beginning, when you're reaching out to people that they trust you already. So you might have that ratio might be a little bit better for you. Like if you reach out to 10 people, maybe you'll get 2, 3, who knows? But as you get into the cold market, it just takes longer. Like with Instagram now, and obviously remember too that over time, you are also building this cold market, like the social media followings, right? So you'll see Erin now has thousands of followers on Instagram. She started with nothing. And so she's had to work really hard to get those relationships going. But for me, I would say I shoot for that 10 to 15 between whether it's, and I would say 10, try, if I'm, and again, this is where I pulled the tracker from, this is what my numbers really are, is 3 coaching invites a day, sincere, genuine invites to coaching. And then, the challenge groups are a little bit more generic sometimes, but they don't take me quite as long. So maybe 10 there. But I guess I can get into more.
Yeah. When it comes to building consistency, knowing that you're trying to send out invites every single day, 5 days a week, outside of tracking and notes, is there anything else that you're doing, reminders you're putting on your phones or anything like that to kind of hold you accountable to inviting?
I have a checklist, my daily checklist of things that I keep in a binder with a dry erase marker for each day. And I think that you have to kind of find what holds you most accountable, because for me, I hate unchecked items on a checklist. So if it's staring me in the face, whether I want to do it or not, it really, for whatever OCD reason, bothers me to go to bed at night without all of my items checked on my checklist. So that kind of works as a reminder to me. And to put it where I'm going to see it. Don't hide it, because then it's not doing its job. But that, for me, that helps me get my stuff done.
And for me, it's early on in my business, I learned that if you're not inviting, you're not going to have a business for very much longer. The minute that you stop inviting. So similar to kind of that, I literally, if my day goes by and I have not invited, I get so anxious and so stressed out, because I'm oh my gosh, I'm not going to have a business. Oh my goodness. Everyone could quit tomorrow and then I'm screwed, and that really is it sounds kind of weird, but that is the mindset that you have to have, because you never know what tomorrow is going to bring. And so if you can stay in inviting mode, your business will have a heartbeat.
Let's transition into that warm market. So one thing I wanted to talk about is just on that getting started kind of focus. You're a brand new coach. You're just trying to figure out who to invite. When you start thinking about warm market invites, maybe just chat briefly, where are you guys starting? If you had and maybe this is a better question too, Erin, if you were just starting your business all over again, who do you message day one?
Yeah. So like y'all said, I did not have a social media following at all. And I'm from a very small town in Southeast Iowa. So basically people that I knew in my family or a couple people I went to high school with. So I was friends with who followed me. I don't even think I had 200 followers on Instagram when I started. And yeah, Facebook, I was not active at all. So it was very strange for me, A, to even start posting, and B, to start messaging people. And again, because I'm an introvert, it was really weird for me to just message people because generally I don't just engage in, like, just initiate conversation. So I did have to learn to get out of my own head. And instead of, like, kind of like what Amber said, instead of, if you go into it like, oh my goodness, they think I'm just trying to sell them something, like, you're going to psych yourself out, when instead, like, maybe they're literally waiting to hear from you, and like you chickening out on your inviting is doing them a disservice that day. Like, maybe your message is the one that day that would like turn their really crappy day around, or like be this glimmer of hope. So I guess I really went through my friends list and thought, like, who is in a similar season as me, or who do I know pretty well that I think would benefit from this and would be open to a conversation. Obviously I do my lead generators and always would message every single person that liked or comment like that. You never outgrow that. Like, you're never too good for that. You're never too into it for that. So I did start doing that to invite, but I just started reconnecting with people in a genuine way. Hey, how are you? And I didn't say, hey girl, I'm doing this new thing, I'd love for you to do it. Because that makes it about me and not about them. Like, you don't want warm bodies, you want to connect with people. So I would just start conversations, and then within a few messages, you can naturally lead it that way. Just like, and you can just, especially in the beginning, like sometimes I'm like envious of new coaches. Like, I've been doing it so long, I don't really have huge fitness goals. I don't like really, people are kind of intimidated by someone that's been working out for a while and like well into their journey. When you're new, you can be like, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. Do you want to do it with me? And people are really like set at ease with that, because they're like, oh, you struggle too? You can't do these push-ups either? Okay. Then like, if you're laughing at yourself, I'll laugh at myself too. Like, don't underestimate the power of being new. Like, it's a beautiful and wonderful thing. It's actually, I think, like something I miss sometimes.
Mm-hmm. It's so true. I mean, at some point you get desensitized a little bit to the newness of it. And I think that is a really good point.
I did want to say, I love what you said about, like, you're thinking about people who are in similar seasons as you, because, there's a lot of like sales, trainings out there about casting a wide net. And it's almost better to be looking for a certain type of fish than trying to catch everything in the sea. And I think that's so true. And for those of you who are out there that are just getting started, like, just think about, like, what are common things that you're going through right now, and who are some people that come to mind? What were you going to say as far as if you were just getting started today, who do you message? How do you invite?
Yeah, this is, by the way, I wanted to mention that Erin went to Diamond in like 6 weeks or something crazy like that from when she started. And so she really did like push herself out and build herself to Diamond on all warm market. So it's not impossible to do that. But yeah, as far as me, so my story, you guys know, is a little bit different in that I didn't build my Beachbody business until I had my following with Mommy's Me Time, but I did build Mommy's Me Time with my warm market. Like, literally had, everyone always thinks like, well, you had your following. Well, yeah, I built that for 5 years before, and so I did the same exact thing that we do here, where it was like day one, I posted, and I literally would do this even though I had nothing that I was selling. People would like my blog post, and I would like send them a message and say thank you. Like, I was like so grateful for anyone that would take the time to read a blog post, and like, I think that built a lot of trust, and then eventually it grew. But if I had to go back and I didn't have a following, and it's funny because this is kind of like what I had to do after I started Beachbody, I still did go back to that warm market and did it, is just thinking about people. For me, my warm market, it was easier to approach them with a coaching opportunity, like the people in my life, because I've told you the guys this before, but I struggle to invite close friends into a challenge group if I feel like, I don't want them to think that I think they have to be in better shape or something like that. And so, so I would lead with the coaching, and I really would think through, who in my warm market would be a coach. And I have to say, like, a lot of people that I reached out to, it took them like 2 years to finally be like, yeah, maybe I'll take a look at that. And some of them still are not coaching. So, take that with a grain of salt too, that sometimes your warm market might not be the the fastest people to adopt and to take this in. So kind of think about your own personality. And we always say, how long did it take you to say yes, and don't be discouraged if you have already reached out to everyone and they've all said no.
Good point. That was me. Yeah, it's funny when you start having people circle back. And every time that we have this conversation with coaches, young and old, one of the more common things that we hear is how long it took them. And then you just kind of have to chuckle a little bit when they're like, my business isn't at diamond yet. And you're like, well, it took you a long time too. So let's transition over to cold market. This is something, obviously, Erin, this is your wheel well. This is something that Amber does pretty routinely as well. So I think this is good. We'll keep it kind of generic as far as just like starting that process. You're starting to think like, how are you going to reach out to people? How are you going to start building more of a following so more people from a cold market are just getting eyes on you? Like that's the number one thing that we're always talking about is just getting eyes on your material. More eyes, more prize, right? So what do you, when you start thinking about building your cold market, where did you begin in that process?
I started with, a Facebook like page, and then which I started, I think the first week that I started coaching, I was like, oh, she has one. She said to do this. I'll just do it. So I just made one up and went for it. And then almost immediately I started paying for ads and boosted posts. I was just doing it and then kind of figuring it out as I went. I believed from like pretty much day one and still believe in certain things that you have to invest if you're really serious about it. So I'm invested and still invest most of what I make back into the business in certain ways. So I still run Facebook ads. I spend more money on it now than I did back in the beginning. Not like a crazy amount, but it's a regular thing that I pay for. And in the same, I do with Instagram. I haven't done as much Instagram ad investment because I feel like you can get further on for free in Instagram right now. The way that it works, like I think that you can still get a decent amount of eyes with stories and stuff without investing in the ads as much. But I do invest in a Instagram growth company that helps me grow my Instagram. But first and foremost, it was Facebook and Facebook ads.
And so how about you when you think about going in and tapping into a cold market? Now, I think a big component to yours is that you had a story that you were telling, and people just kind of kept coming into that story. But anything strategic that you felt like you were doing, or things you were trying to speak to start creating cold market conversations?
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing is to tell your story often, like always go back to the beginning of your story often, because you have to remember that just because you've told it once doesn't mean that your new followers went back to find the story. And so to go back, like, and you can tell it in different ways, but really, like in thinking through, like Erin, kind of to back with what Erin said, think back to what you really felt like when you were at your lowest low. Because if you can keep sharing from that spot and try to get yourself back there, that's how you're going to connect with people that really need you and that get you and that trust you. So
and so if you do that, you're going to suddenly have a cold market just by doing that.
No. Do you want me to go into like?
Yeah, I kind of do. I would like it to be a little bit more in depth. Like I think every last person on this call knows how to write an Instagram post. I don't like care about that. I care more about like if you're trying to penetrate, you're trying to get into a cold market, and you're trying to find new coaches from a cold market. What are you doing?
Oh, a lot of stories, I would say.
So Instagram stories. If these people get off the call immediately, don't listen to the rest, and just start doing Instagram stories, they're going to have a cold market.
No, I mean, like Erin said, I mean, there's lots of things that you can do to build your cold market. Like, let's say, I think it would help me if we said, okay, how many people are we talking? Like someone that's new to Instagram? Is that what you're talking? Because like what I do now is probably different. But if you're new to Instagram, I would say like it just starts with getting in a good groove. It's really, I think it's like adorable to watch the process of a new coach kind of start on Instagram and how like scared you are and how nervous you are, because I was there and I totally know how that feels. And then you start to see this confidence come out. But you guys, it only happens by just posting. I heard this quote at Leadership, and it was so true. They said, posting is your paycheck. And I thought, gosh, that really is so good, because if you're consistent at posting, first of all, like you said, you have to have a story. So if you're just starting out, I'll probably say, focus on trying to be as consistent as possible, sharing your heart, sharing where you've been, sharing where you want to go, getting comfortable on stories for sure. And really, once you feel like, okay, I'm consistent, then I think there's a couple options. And I feel like what Erin said, it has started to become more and more popular over the last few months, even where we used to teach this thing where we would say, okay, spend like hours upon hours following people that you think might be like you. And so we would say, okay, go search hashtags. And we were all doing this, like, so go search hashtags and find people that are like you and comment on 3 of their photos and like 5 of them. And, hopefully you'll find like 1 in 100 that would maybe follow you back. And so basically what a lot of us have turned to, and this does not, the reason why I get a little bit nervous to talk about this is because I never want someone to think like, if I do this, my business is automatically going to grow, because I truly believe that this is not going to do that for you unless you take care of the people that find you. But for a lot of us have found that by hiring out or delegating out the whole following new people and searching different hashtags, that we are able to have new eyes on our stuff. And so we're growing faster. But then at that point, once we have more eyes, then it's like, okay, I'm constantly looking, who's following me today? How can I connect with them? And then, I shared this whole process in our team's power hour. Then I'm adding them to my collections and seeing how how I can really build that relationship from there. So for a lot of us, I think, again, it's an investment back into your business. But I mean, I'd be curious for those of you who use something, if you could just type in the chat, I think you'd be surprised at how many people are actually using some sort of outside service to just help you get more eyes on your stuff. And I think that in Instagram is the most effective way to get into that cold market. And I used to think it was like, is that okay? But at the end of the day, again, more followers does not necessarily mean more profits. It just means an opportunity for more people to see your stuff. There's a bunch of different ones. Sim Social, 21 Social. I heard of a new one today, Jump something. So there are a lot of things out there. And I think the prices vary. I know that Stim has one where you can start for, I think, is it $40 a month, Erin? I forget.
I started with the $99 a month, like, managed one, but then I was not getting what I was shooting for. And so then I switched to the $40 one and then have my assistant manage my targets. And that has gone a lot better. But Jumper Media is probably what you're talking about. I've heard that one's good. But yeah, I've been using Stim for 4 or 5 months and I've gained like 3,000 followers in that time. So it's definitely, and a good chunk of them are quality and like more, I'm getting a lot more eyes on my stories. But again, don't waste your money on that if you're not going to do something with those people. Like, you have to be engaging with those people to make it worth it.
And I think, with that, like, what I've learned on Instagram is that it takes a lot longer to develop that relationship than it even did on Facebook for whatever reason. And so, like, if I have a brand new person that's following me, I would say on average, it's probably going to take at least 3 to 6 months before that relationship turns into something that they might purchase through me. And maybe sometimes it's less if I get lucky, but it does take a lot of just like intentional, building that relationship, like you said. But you're absolutely right. If you're not serious about sticking around here and building these relationships, the investment's not worth it. But I think it really could be a great spot for you to start to have those conversations.
I want to go back to Facebook for Business, and I think this is going to might just be a little bit more an Erin Novak question, just because I don't know how often you use your business page to create conversations. Mm-hmm. But I'm curious, when you see that somebody likes or somebody comments, like, what's that process like? How are you creating a conversation with them?
So every new like that I get to my page gets a message from me. So typically that's somewhere around at least 100, maybe up to like 120, 130 a week. And it's just, I've tried different things, but I have found that short and sweet has been the most like productive for me, because I've even tried, hey, here's a free meal plan, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't get a whole lot back. So I just say, hey, thank you for taking the time to like my page, Littles and Lunges. Are you a wife and a mom too? And so out of that, like, say 100 a week, I probably get at least 30 responses. which I feel is pretty good because it used to be a lot less than that. And so then from there, I just ask them how they found my page. Sometimes they're another Beachbody coach, and I'm like, hey, good luck, goodbye. But then when they're not, and then I like, oh, are you into health and fitness too? And then it just naturally, you're liking a health and fitness page. You're just asking to be invited to something. And if they're not ready to like learn more about coaching or a fit group, then I offer them a free week's meal plan. And then like they go in my follow up and check back. So I get a lot of conversations going that way. And then, yeah, I mean, I post on my page regularly and do my lead generators on that page all the time. So a similar, like I put some scripts in my notes over here that I can put in the comments. Like what I will do for Instagram, sometimes on my Facebook is this, if I want to invite into, sorry, I'm trying to copy paste and then put it. If someone has liked one of my posts about coaching, this has been a script I've been using recently. Is that okay to share in the chat?
Yeah, that'd be great.
To kind of do a different spin, and it's gotten a lot of people responding. And so it just kind of dives right into it. So if you like or comment on a post that I've like either a lead generator or like a business breadcrumb type post about coaching, then you're going to get a message similar to that, something along those lines, inviting you to learn more about it from me.
Well, that's great. I love that. That's so good.
Cool. How are you using like Facebook personal? Because I feel like you do really good on that. Like you get a lot of engagement, you get a lot of posts. So if somebody's commenting on your stuff or they're liking your stuff on Facebook, where does that conversation go? Or how do you create something that could be leading them to something else?
Yeah, well, one thing I just want to touch on is that like some people are really nervous to use their Facebook personal page. It's like I'll see new coaches that run to Instagram because it's like a safe hiding spot, and they don't use the market that they have right in front of them on Facebook. So if you have not been posting to Facebook, the way that the algorithms work right now, and it's changed a lot over the years, is that business pages, like maybe 10%. So let's say you have 100 followers. 10% of those people are going to be served your post. That means like maybe only 10 people will even ever see your post. So it's great. Like, and I still use it, and because they want you to pay to play. Like Erin said, you have to use a lot more money to invest in ads and stuff. Whereas on your personal, if you can really be good, hopefully, because we're not a team that's going to spam people with like, buy from me, buy from me. So if you're writing from a sincere spot, your posts are going to get traction because Facebook personal is all about community and friendship and all of that. And so yeah, what I found, it's been crazy, even over the last few months, like I have, 40-some thousand on my business page, and I have, I don't know, just a normal Facebook friends page, and I'll get like 10 times as more likes on my posts on my personal page. So yeah, so once I post on there, I'll usually like just I'll sometimes put a link to a Google form. Sometimes I'll put comment below. Then I'm following up with those people. I don't feel like I proactively use Facebook anymore really to like invite. I almost moved all of that to Instagram unless they reach out to me on my personal is kind of how I do that. But what I would say for those of you who are newer would be, especially if you're starting out and you're posting stuff on your personal page, every like that you get, every comment that you get, you're connected in some way. Mm-hmm. It's not like, hey, I saw you liked it, want to join me, but it's like, hey, thanks so much for liking my post. That was so sweet of you. And then you kind of just talk about comment to them about something. So yeah, I mean, I kind of just copy and paste whatever I post on Instagram to my personal, but it's been working really well.
Well,
sorry, can I point out one tip with that quick that I find helpful in getting more eyes on my Facebook? So engagement boosting posts are really important to get people engaging on stuff so that they then see the post you really want them to see. But Facebook picks up on like the really obvious engagement boosting posts sometimes with like the A, B, C, or D, because they try to weed a lot of that stuff out. But if you I don't care if you don't need teething tips for your baby, ask for recommendations for teeth. Have a teething baby, otherwise that's weird. But just moms love to give advice on things or comment about things that is the same in their marriage or with their kids, or like just ask for help and like do it in one of those big bold colored things so you keep it really short so it like shows up like a picture on people's stuff. And then if they're engaging on that, then Facebook is going to be like, oh, this person likes to see Erin's post, they might want to see this next post. And like show them that also. So don't like, make sure you're not just like always health, fitness, inspiration. Like show other parts of your personality and ask people for help so that they feel like they're of value to you as well.
Yeah, that's so good.
Yeah, I mean, I always chuckle when you see the people that want the outfit advice. Meanwhile, like they already bought the outfit about 2 days ago and know exactly what they're wearing on Friday night. But hey, it works. So I think that's great. I mean, that's how all these algorithms work. Is the more that you play within them, the more that people participate in them, the more likely that people are to see your stuff. So, and I really feel like with Facebook, they want less and less of the transaction unless you're willing to pay for it, and more of the encouragement or the sweet mom moments. So, make sure you're being that relatable person, because I mean, we've seen it in our own personal lives where people try and follow you on multiple platforms. So, that's where, I try and be a little bit more intentional about what I post on Instagram and what I post on Facebook more and more. And so like, if people go to my Instagram, they're going to get different content than what they're getting from Facebook. And I don't think that's a bad thing. It makes you have to be, not relatable, but, mentionable, I guess, on multiple platforms.
Sorry, there was one more thing that I noticed, because Facebook wants you to act like a normal mom, and normal moms, when they go to the pumpkin patch, don't put like one perfectly filtered picture. They put like 7 and then like a caption. So I'll notice that so I get more eyes and likes and stuff on my stuff if I do something with the girls on Facebook when I put multiple pictures, because then I look more like a normal mom than some business person that's trying to like put the perfect picture with the perfect words out there. And so, like, I've just kind of noticed that it shows me a lot of that. So I'm thinking that they would show other people a lot of that stuff too.
Yeah, that's a good tip. I've never thought of that. So true.
So transitioning to Instagram, this is the moneymaker. So when it comes to Instagram, let's see here. Where do I want to start with this? So we kind of talked about the basics of using Instagram. Do you guys use Instagram any differently than you use Facebook, or do you post the same things to both platforms?
I do some of the same, but I am a lot more picky about the order of things on Instagram so that my profile always looks cohesive and there's not like similar pictures next to each other or like up and down. So I think that you have to be more of a big picture planner with your Facebook or with your Instagram feed, where Facebook, it's, people just scroll, so that doesn't matter. So I do think of that. I also have been trying to incorporate like a balance of, sometimes people want to read like my emotional thoughts on things, and some people want to read like fall vibes and like just a cute picture. Like people want a balance of both. So I try to like have some short and sweet or like just funny and stuff, and then others that are more like sharing what's going on with me.
How about you?
Well, I wanted to touch on with Erin's Facebook. One thing that you do really well too over there is live video. Can you talk about what you've done with that?
Yeah, which I didn't do it today. So now I'm in trouble. I didn't do it on the day that you're asking me about it. So normally in the last like 6 months to a year, I've gotten super consistent. I just called it nap chat. And like, I just get on at nap time and talk about something. And sometimes it's like a serious emotional thing, like me getting my kids kicked out of preschool. And then sometimes it's like just a funny thing or like a mom thing or like whatever. But I like had it in my head before this that I had to be like, always have the perfect thing to say when I went live, that I always had to have like really valuable information to share with people, and that it needed to be some like great thing that they could walk away with, like to apply to their lives. And then I thought, people don't really care about perfect. People like people. So they're going to like me, whether I'm talking about like my kid peeing in the bed or telling them this really awesome recipe. Like, so it doesn't matter what I'm saying every day. I mean, like, you obviously don't want to be really offensive, like things like that, but like it just matters that I'm consistent. And then I found, like, because we all go through seasons too of like struggle, and like I like would miss a few days, and then I would get messages from people that I didn't even know were watching or paying attention, like, hey, I haven't seen you, like, what happened? I've tuned into you every single day. Like, So there is something in consistency. And when I started, I'm like, I'm just going to go live every day, Monday through Friday at nap time for like 5 minutes. And it made a huge difference in my engagement on my like page, in my followers on my like page, and just people like, it's made people around my town that I live in now approach me randomly at places, which has been a little awkward, but kind of cool. But yeah, and it also just got me like over my fear of thinking that I had to be perfect going live and just doing it. Just like the only way through the anxiety is the action. So that the consistency of that has been really good.
Yeah, I love it. Oh, for me?
Oh, whatever,
okay.
Wherever you want to take this, baby. I'm just on the train.
No, I'm pretty boring. I pretty much just copy and paste. My goal is always like, oh, one day when I have more time, I'll be more creative. But right now I'm like copy paste.
Nice. Yep. So when somebody sees your copy and pasted post on Instagram, let's say, and you notice that you got 50 likes, what are you doing with those likes? What are you doing with comments? How do you create those conversations now?
Well, similar to like what I put over in the feed, if they just like one of my everyday, like my girls playing outside and it's not really anything, I don't message people. I don't want to be like, I don't want to over, because I get a little, if someone just messages me for following them on Instagram or sends me like, I don't like that. So I try to think that if they're like me, that they wouldn't like that. So, but every comment I probably miss some, but every comment gets a reply. Or if I like look at their profile and think, oh, then they'll get a message. Like if it's someone that would be my ideal market, then I just like message them and like start a conversation. But yeah, on Instagram, I mean, you just have to look at who it is. Like, Amber, like some of the people you're like, probably not going to message that person. But if they look like they are in your market and aren't obviously already a Beachbody coach, then they get a message similar to that. Or if it's not like a call to action kind of post, then just like, hey, thanks for the support. And I don't like invite them to anything or anything. It's just like maybe something similar. Like, are you a wife and a mom too? Like I do on my Littles and Lunges page, or like, I saw that you're a mom too, if they have a public profile and I saw that.
And now how is that conversation then on your end when you message somebody or you get a message back? How are you gradually facilitating that? Really, just specific to Instagram, not Instagram stories, let's say, but like how are you gradually bringing along a relationship to a point where you can actually invite them?
I would say like I always look at who likes it, and I kind of follow the same process as I do with stories where, I'll follow them if they look like someone I could be friends with, or that might enjoy our community. And then I'll go ahead and add them to my collections right away. So then they're in that pot of people that I just know I'm building relationships with.
And you're commenting, you're engaging, you're sending sincere messages.
Yeah, trying to touch with Alyssa's help. This is something that I've delegated a little bit, is trying to connect with people at least once a week. Trying to comment, respond to their stories. Like I'll watch their stories. I do have like a little list of like top prospects that I feel like are like closer than maybe some of the people that just started. So then those people I'm definitely more intentional with.
Now, as it pertains specifically to stories, because I think we were chatting about this the other day, Erin, you said like the majority of people I'm inviting right now are coming from stories. So I would say it's probably the same thing for you. So you've, whether it's Instagram, whether it's Facebook, whether it's stories, obviously you guys are sharing who you are, little pieces about your day, little pieces about your kids. It's not 100% coaching. Like I always say, like 30 minutes of our day is our workout. The other 23 hours is what makes people actually want to, work out with us. So you've created this relationship. You've noticed that people are paying attention to your stories. Maybe you've noticed that they've engaged with you. You've noticed that they've messaged you. Now, like that actual invite, when do you guys feel like it's right? Who are you inviting? What are there like signs that you feel like, hey, this is probably the right time, or this could be the right person?
I invite when I see that you can see when people are consistently watching your stories. And I focus more specifically on the people because I think that the workout part of my story is probably like the boring part of my story, really, for most people, because a lot of people want to see what ridiculous things my kids do or whatever. So whoever is consistently watching my workout portion of my story multiple days in a week, then they get a message from me. Because if they want to watch me work out every day, then they probably just need to do it with me, is my mindset. Like, because if they're, you know, if they're always showing up and watching that part, then I'm going to reach out. If I've seen that they've watched it at least 3 times, then I'm going to message and invite them.
Mm-hmm. And mine is the same. Like, I look at, and you can, like, you ask for signs. Usually what I see is they've liked a bunch of my posts recently. Like, you can kind of tell when someone's like, okay, thinking about it really hard. They'll start liking more of your posts. They'll watch all your stories. But what I do is, like, especially the stories where I drag on a little bit, like where I talk about coaching or I talk about a boot camp, the people that watch that all the way to the end, I'm like, dude, you're still watching it? Because, you know, you see how people drop like flies. And I'm like, that's fine. The people that stick with me, like, they're serious. And so then those are the people that I'm then, again, adding to my collections, messaging, you know, talking to, or I'll just send them an invite, or like, but it's, I don't know, for me, what I found is that it is just building that relationship. Like, this is so small, but this is literally how I'm getting people to go from like not wanting to join me to people wanting to join me, is like the poll feature, just having really random polls. Like, for example, this one last weekend on Saturday, we were in the car on the way home from date night, and I was playing a worship song. And I asked people on a poll, do you love this song? Yes. Or the other option was, what is it? And, you know, there were 50 people that responded, what is it? And so all 50 of those people then got a message from me going, hey, thanks so much for responding to my poll. Here's a link to that song. It's so good. I hope it encourages you, whatever. And so, like, that is what I am doing all the time when I'm doing these polls, is it's like just like an opportunity to deposit a little bit of light and a little bit of encouragement. And I'm telling you, or like I'll share a recipe, or I'll share whatever, you know, just a little tiny piece of value. But I'm telling you, then those people are the ones that are like, I'm in, I'm going to join you, like when I do a poll about actually. So I think conditioning your audience to respond to polls about random stuff that is just not fitness related. And then, you know, once they are more serious, they will eventually, you know, decide to join you too.
And I handle a lot of Amber's like follow-ups in Instagram. So if they would respond to a poll, I'm typically a part of sending out a lot of those messages. And I'll tell you, like, the majority of people that are responding to polls or requesting more information have done it like 5 times now.
Oh,
so
yeah,
it's not like this isn't their first time. And it's a good reminder to you guys when you're sending out your messages, whether it's a message or it's a follow-up, and you don't get a response and you're like, I can't stand this inviting thing. Like, we're all doing it. We're all sending the messages out. We're all getting ghosted. And then like the 5-10 times later, all of a sudden, then I'll be like, oh, no way. She actually signed up. I've sent her, 3 Google forms now to fill out. So I'm glad she decided to move forward with it. But if you're not having that frequent conversation, you're not moving your business forward. And so like you're creating those conversations with different types of polls. We did the dumbest thing the other day where we were doing like a contest over who made a better Bitmoji. I mean, it's like the dumbest stuff. Like I feel like I overthink it entirely, feeling like I'm not that interesting. People are going to be dropping. Like, I take it personally when people stop following my stories. But who cares? Like, at the end of the day, you're running a business. You're trying to provide for your family. And that's what's important with all this stuff. Like, whatever mindset that you need to get into it and just get it done. Because once it's done, then you don't have to think about it again. Plus, like, just the assurance that, like, these people take a little bit of marinating. Like, you might as well get the steaks on the grill already,
I think it's important, like you said, the polls. I try to think of it as kind of the same ratio as the lead generator thing, like 80%, 20%. So like a good majority of the polls that you're doing, or I like the questions one, stuff like that, should not be asking them to join you. It should be like, because then they're comfortable. And like, I like getting people to reply to my story. I'm getting more and more people that will just message me, and I like conditioning my followers to like message me, like just on their own, to like comment on something or ask. So if you're doing that a lot of just normally about normal stuff, and then when you actually do like that call to action poll or something, they're more like they're actually going to read it, because if all you do is that, then I'm like, oh, another poll, and they're going to probably skip it. But if they're like, well, what's this poll? Oh, and they're like, maybe I do want information this time, you know?
Totally.
I also think that one thing we found, especially on lead generator nights, is by asking for people to drop emojis or like send me a message. I think that's like almost lazy at this day and age. Like, I mean, you can do it occasionally if you want to, but a lot of the stuff that the people that you're getting back to are people that have requested, like either requested information, filled out a form, or that you've personally reached out to. Instead of like thinking we're going to get direct messages from people wanting to sign up, you're going to have to put yourself out there. If you want to
can do all
people.
that. Like, you know, you can do all the things. Like sometimes I'll switch it up, like fill out the form, drop an emoji, drop this or that. But like none of us are getting thousands and thousands of people to do that. So it really is all about that follow-up and building that relationship.
Have you ever used send me an email?
I have used that. And then I'll put my email. Yeah, Amy Arata, I know she told us that her Instagram just blew up too much where she couldn't keep track of her messages anymore, so she just goes all to email right now.
Questions on how to get more people watching your Instagram stories. That's one of the questions. Any tips to get more followers watching your stories?
I think that like they say that geotags help. Like if you are sometimes tagging your location, using the features, like Facebook owns Instagram. So if you're using the things that they put out there, they're more likely to make your stories pop up too. So if it's just you and you're not using any of their features like polls or questions or things like that, then they're probably less likely to make yours pop up on people's feed.
Yeah, it's so true. And I mean, like you can actually copy and paste hashtags into your stories too. Like just make them super tiny so no one can see them. But that's another way to get more eyes. But I think in general, like the rule that, at least lately for me, it's like in order to have friends, you have to be a friend. And so if you can just like love on people, build those relationships, the more that you do that, like the more they will be interested in you as well, I think.
Amy Rada said something at leadership where she said
Erin, that's scary.
she said that she uses Instagram as her source of accountability. So that might be another way for you to be growing your at least your following on stories, is just make it, certainly make it broader than just your workouts, just what you eat. You got to give people something that they want to tune in and see every day. Like that's where I kind of think I think you're brilliant at like having your kind of like ongoing conversation about something, and then you ask at the end of it. And I think Erin's is like her like demeanor is just like kind of like the camera's really like in her face, and she's talking right at you. Like there's something about it that you just kind of want to watch till the end. You almost create a character of sorts.
Yeah, you get like addicted to like, oh my gosh, I wonder what she's up to today, and it's like seriously the most random stuff. It's just, I'm telling you guys all can have tons of stories if you just like take a minute and document what you're thinking throughout the day. And I think what you said too about fitness is like a huge tip, because a lot of new coaches will join and they'll think, okay, I'm going to have a business account. I'm going to have a separate account for just my fitness stuff. And it does not work, because you're not sharing enough of your life. Like, and I tried that for a while too, where I was like, okay, I'm going to have a totally separate account. And I get if you want to like start fresh and just have one, that's totally fine. But
your kids still need to be a part of it.
Your kids still need to be in it. Like it can't just be sweaty selfies or product, or it should never be just product.
I mean, you think about this, like one thing that you do, Erin, and yours is like you have this like obnoxious thing come Saturday with Michigan Blue, which pisses me off because they beat my Badgers, like spanked my Badgers. But I think like that's probably not you, and not that you don't support Chad, but that's probably not something that you were raised to love the Wolverines the way that he does. But it becomes a part of your story. And so people are wondering like what you made on game day. Like has nothing to do with fitness, and probably half the stuff you make on game day, you probably shouldn't be eating if you really want to.
Carbs.
But it's part of the story. And I think that's what people start tuning in for, are those like little quirks and things that you do.
Yeah.
That's essentially what you're conditioning your Instagram I don't know as much Facebook. I don't feel like you can condition Facebook. Just keep posting cute pictures of your kids. Maybe do that and then like ask if they want to join you for a challenge group. But on Instagram, I feel like you can kind of condition your audience to like what they can expect on different days.
Yeah, Chad tells me that he just said you just have to accept you are the reality show now. So like make it worth it. Like, and I try to keep that in mind that I bookend my day too. Like there's people that watch my story. I mean, like I don't get it because I don't think that I'm that interesting, but like consistently every day, no matter what. And so I just think to myself, like, okay, I need to say good morning. I need to like be consistent throughout the day, and then I need to say good night to these people, because otherwise then it's this weird, like, well, she was doing this and then all of a sudden it's the next day. What the heck happened? I mean, life happens. I have days that it gets away from me, but like I try to remind myself, like, make it like it's like an episode. Like if someone's watching it, like make it make sense, you know?
And don't worry so much about what other people are thinking or any of that kind of stuff.
It's only up for 24 hours. I mean, that's the thing. It's like great practice because it's only 24 hours. You can always delete it, but
that was good in Mexico that some of those were only up for 24 hours.
Yeah, we should create a highlight.
Yeah.
But any other questions from anybody? Want to be respectful there. I feel like I deserve a shout out tonight because I am the biggest Green Bay Packers fan on the planet, and I was getting yelled at because I wanted to watch the game while doing this call. And so I've sacrificed an hour, and we are losing 24-20, but it's halftime. So we've got a few more minutes here. I could not miss the second half, or I might just like spontaneously combust.
Being the Michigan football wife that I am, like I can totally appreciate. Like Chad would just never. Like I don't know if like our child's surgery could like pull him away from football games. So like that's a big deal. And no, I was raised in Iowa Hawkeye, so like my dad's probably still just cussing that I married a Michigan Wolverine, but I totally play into it for Chad and do the whole thing.
Oh, that's great. Any other questions, you guys? And I love that, Erin, you shared some like scripts of how you get the conversation started. I think it'd be cool if we all kind of just shared some
Maybe
more
create a thread in
scripts.
that in that Push to Diamond page.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be good.
Anything else?
Cool. Well, I do want to say thank you to you, Erin, for taking time away from your family and joining and providing perspective tonight. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. I hope it was helpful. Like, I don't know if the no questions means we totally crushed it or it was really awful. Like, I don't know if there's really an in-between. Like,
yeah, did you guys learn something? I'm sure. There's so many little nuggets. All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you later. Okay, bye.
Night.